Hey everyone, welcome back to the Legacy Sports channel. This is Nate, and today we're diving into a story that could change the future of the WNBA, and maybe even women's sports as a whole. I'm talking about Caitlin Clark, a generational talent who's taken the league by storm and drawn millions of new eyes to the WNBA. But here's the catch. The WNBA is at risk of fumbling the biggest bag they've ever had. How? By failing to truly appreciate and protect Caitlin, by neglecting the opportunity she brings, and by letting petty rivalries and poor player treatment stand in the way. Let's dive in and break down why Caitlin Clark could redefine women's sports if the WNBA doesn't lose her first. Let's start with the basics. Caitlin Clark is no ordinary rookie. This is a player who's already smashed records in her first year, and she's brought attention to the WNBA that's never been seen before. Clark's games alone have drawn in millions of viewers. Her playoff debut against the Connecticut Sun pulled in 1.84 million viewers. Think about that. That's more than some NBA games, and unheard of for the WNBA. Then, in Game 2, she topped herself with 2.54 million viewers, making her the biggest draw the league has ever had. But it's not just about the numbers. Caitlin brings a unique play style that has fans on their feet, filling up stadiums and glued to their television screens. This is a player who can hit a three from anywhere, who plays with style that makes every game an event. When she's not on the court, fans notice. The second she was eliminated from the playoffs, the league's viewership numbers took a nosedive. The first game of the Aces and Liberty series, a rematch of last year's finals, only drew half of what Caitlin's games brought in. So here's where the WNBA finds itself. Caitlin Clark is the kind of talent who could push the WNBA into mainstream sports, but that only happens if they're willing to invest in her and protect her. And that's where the trouble starts. Let's talk about the money Caitlin brings in. This season, she didn't just boost viewership and ticket sales, she's transformed how sponsors see the WNBA. Caitlin already has a $28 million deal with Nike, and her presence has brought countless new eyes to the league. But here's the frustrating part. Despite all the value she's adding, Caitlin is only making $76,000 a year with the WNBA. It's a rookie contract, yes, but when you're the number one draw in the league, you'd expect more. And here's where it gets interesting. A new league, the unrivaled Women's Basketball League, is willing to pay her over $1 million plus give her stake in the league. Think about what that says. This league sees Caitlin's value and they're putting their money where their mouth is. This kind of offer mirrors what Lionel Messi got when he joined Inter Miami in MLS, a massive payday plus revenue shares and ownership. So here's what's on the line. If the WNBA doesn't step up and invest in Caitlin Clark, she could leave. And that's not just a missed paycheck. It's potentially millions in lost revenue, sponsorships, and a fan base that will follow her wherever she goes. We're talking about the future of women's sports on the line here. And all because the WNBA isn't willing to fully appreciate the gold mine they have. But let's talk about what Caitlin Clark is actually facing on the court and off it. It's no secret that Caitlin has been on the receiving end of some excessive physical play from rival teams. I'm talking about hard fouls, aggressive plays, and constant attempts to wear her down. She's a target because she's good, because she's popular, and because her presence in the league has made her a threat. This isn't just about intense competition. It's borderline dirty play. And it's something that the league needs to address if they want to keep her safe on the court. And it's not just the players on the court. Caitlin has faced jealousy and criticism from some of her peers in the WNBA and even in sports media. You'd think they'd celebrate someone bringing this level of attention to women's basketball, right? But instead, we're seeing subtle digs, dismissive comments, and even some hate. Players like Caitlin challenge the status quo, and that's not sitting well with everyone. But here's the thing. This attitude could drive her away. If the WNBA can't show her respect, if they let jealousy and rivalries overshadow her contributions, Caitlin might decide it's just not worth it. The WNBA needs to take a hard look at how it's treating its players. Caitlin Clark is the type of player who could carry this league for years, but if she feels unsupported, if she's dealing with physical risks, excessive fouls, unfair media scrutiny, why would she stay? The league needs to protect her, not just because she's a star, but because she deserves the same respect and care as any other professional athlete. Now let's talk about travel, a big issue that Caitlin Clark and so many WNBA players have had to face. Unlike NBA players who take chartered flights and enjoy top-tier accommodations, WNBA players have largely had to fly commercial. Now, imagine Caitlin Clark, arguably the biggest name in women's sports right now, going through airport security, waiting at a baggage claim, dealing with flight delays. It's almost absurd, right? Well, this season, thanks in large part to the attention she has gained and brought to the league, the WNBA finally started to make a change. The league announced that they're implementing charter flights for all teams during the playoffs. This is a game changer, and it's directly connected to the increased spotlight Caitlin has brought to the WNBA. Fans, media, and even other athletes have been calling out the league to provide better accommodations for years, but it's a Caitlin Clark's popularity and her advocacy to really move the needle. Here's the irony. Caitlin brought about a positive change that will help every player in the WNBA, but this improvement only highlights the other ways the league needs to step up. The WNBA has a player who's not just leading on the court, but advocating for better conditions off of it. Caitlin is making the league better for everyone, and that's exactly the kind of player they can't afford to lose. So here's where it all comes together. The WNBA has a choice. They can either rise to the occasion and capitalize on the opportunity that Caitlin has created, or they can let it pass by. Caitlin has already proven she's a transformative player. She's changed the way fans view the league. She's drawn millions of new eyes to women's basketball, and she's even influenced league policies. But she's not going to stay if the WNBA doesn't show her the respect, protection, and support she's earned. This isn't just about keeping one player. This is about making a commitment to every player who will come into the league after her. This is about proving that the WNBA values its stars enough to give them what they deserve, to protect them on and off the court, and build a league that lives up to its potential. Because if Caitlin Clark leaves, it's not just her that goes, it's the future of women's basketball. So the question is, will the WNBA step up, or will they fumble the biggest bag ever? So here's the bottom line. Caitlin Clark is a once-in-a-generation talent, the kind of player who could change the WNBA forever. She's shown the world what women's basketball can be, and she's given the league a golden opportunity to make a statement. But if the WNBA doesn't act, if they don't treat her like the star she is, if they don't protect her and make her feel valued, then they're going to fumble the biggest bag in the history of women's sports. So what do you think? Should the WNBA step up and keep Caitlin Clark as the face of the league? Or will she take her talents elsewhere? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. As always, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for future content. I'm Nate, and you've been watching the Legacy Sports channel. I'll see you all in the next one.